All right, welcome back with Miss Need, and we are looking at lesson 5, equivalent fractions. All right, so looking at these two fractions, I know that this bottom one is divided into 4 pieces, and the top one is divided into 8 pieces. You can double check my math if you want. I'm quite confident. Okay, so if I'm looking at these two fraction strips that are the exact same size, and I'm noticing that this is 3 out of 4 and this is 6/8, right? So 3/4 and 6/8. Which one's bigger? Trick question. So if you notice that they're both exactly the same size, this is what we mean by equivalent. Okay? They might look different, but they are exactly the same size. Okay, so looking here, if I was going to get you to shade the bottom fraction strip, which is out of 4, right, so that it is equivalent to the top fraction strip, which is 1/2, how would you shade this? So hopefully you shaded in 2 of those pieces. Okay, so 2/4 is equal to or equivalent to 1/2. All right, now let's look at this fraction strip. So this is a bunch of fractions, and it shows you how they line up with one another. So if I was going to ask you, what color will show up here? If I'm going to ask you, okay, what would be equivalent to 1/2? Which fractions are going to be equal to 1/2? So I'm looking all the way down and I'm finding the lines that match up. So if I see the 1/4 and 1/4 there, that's going to be 2/4. And again here is also equal to, so 1/2 and 2/4 is also equal to 3/6. And I keep going down using the fraction strip, is also equal to 4/8. And there's a pattern that's arising here, and I'm hoping that you're noticing it. So 4/8, and then is also equal to 5/10, which is also equal to 6/12. What is the pattern that you're noticing here? So I hope that you're noticing that the top number, the numerator, is exactly half of the denominator. Very interesting. Okay, let's have a look at the next one here. Actually, I'll use this color. Okay, now what number would be equivalent to 3/4? So now I'm looking here. Okay, and can you find the fractions that are equivalent to 3/4? Okay, so I know 6/8 for sure, right? And then looking down here, and 9/12. Notice that I'm jumping by 4s here, and I'm jumping by 3s here, skip counting. Right? That's a good pattern to notice. How about, can you find a number that is equivalent to 8/10? Right there. Okay, so just pause the video there and see if you can find anything that would be equivalent to 8/10. All right, so I'm hoping that you noticed that 4/5 is equivalent. And what is the pattern here? What do you notice between the numerators and the denominators? So I'm hoping that you notice that the denominator is half of 10, and so is the top, is half of 8. Okay, so that's how you use the fraction strip. Now we're going to look at finding equivalent fractions using groupings. Okay, so I have 4 different squares here that are divided into 3 equal groups, and they each have 2/3 shaded. Okay, so each of these are 2/3. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this first one in half. Do I still have the same amount shaded? Absolutely, but it's going to be written and it's going to look a little different. So it's now out of 6, and there's 4 6 shaded. And I'm going to cut the next one into more pieces, right? And so it's still the same amount, but now it's out of 9. So the denominator is 9 because it's divided into 9 pieces, but the top part has 6 pieces shaded. And let's look at the next part. I have taken that same fraction, and now I have 4, 8, 12 pieces. And I have 4, 8 pieces shaded. And those are still equivalent, right? Okay, and the last one, I have 15. It's divided into 15 pieces, right? 5, 10, 15. And now I have 5, 10 shaded. Okay, so these are all equivalent fractions. Now, I wanted to show you something a little bit different. So I'm looking here. Notice that that matches right here. So I'm looking at 2/3 and how we get to 4/6. So if I look here, I drew that line there, and I divided them into 2 more pieces, top and bottom, right, with that one line. So I'm going to write a 2 there and a 2 there. So I'm going to multiply the numerator by 2, which equals the 4, and I'm going to multiply the denominator by 2, which equals the 6. And it shows that that line has split it into 2 more sections, right? All right, I want you to do this section here, which refers to this one. This section here, so I'm just going to write number 3, which refers to the third one here. And this section refers to the last one there. So just pause and do this yourself. All right, so welcome back. Now, noticing here, I cut this into 3 more sections, so I'm going to multiply this by 3 and this by 3. So 2 times 3 equals 6, and 3 times 3 equals 9. Okay, and again, I'm multiplying this next one here. I've divided it into 4 more sections, and so I'm going to multiply by those 4 sections. So 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12. Now this last one, not what I wanted to do. Okay, I divided it 1, 2, 3, 4. I put 4 lines in, which made 5 sections. So I'm going to multiply by 5. So 2 times 5 is 10 for the numerator, and 5 times 3 is 15 for the denominator. All right, so that's it for this video. So please make sure you do the accompanying worksheet. And if you have any problems, please make sure you come to the help session.